Hey guys, welcome back to the Lucid Nightmare. I'm your host, Jay Schatzer, and we got another great one for you. It's John D. Hancock's 1971 strange flick, Let's Scare Jessica to Death. And this is actually a personal favorite of mine. It's kind of underrated. Nobody really talks about the movie, but we're going to talk about it here today because I think you should check it out. It's really good. So, let's get this thing started here. Let's scare Jessica to death. Why don't we? Let's Scare Jessica to Death, or what I like to call Watch Out for the Damn Ginger-Headed Albino, is a masterpiece of 70s horror. This graceful tale of a woman gone mad is constructed with such patience and care that you come to appreciate its slow pace and attention to detail. The story opens with a young woman by the name of Jessica, played by a wonderfully mad Zora Lampert, who has just been released from an institution where she has been struggling with separating reality from fantasy. In other words, she has tendencies to be as crazy as a loon. Jessica and her husband Duncan, played by an asshole-ish Barton Heyman, decide that some country air will do Jessica some good, so they set off to live in a farmhouse along with their mutual friend Woody, played by Kevin O'Connor. The farmhouse setting is actually creepily fantastic, with a gothic setting and a atmospheric punch that gives the film a much needed injection of horror. This is definitely not a good place to take someone who lets their mind run away with themselves. But it sure looks great, and it's a perfect location for a spooky horror film. Let's Scare Jessica to Death is a stupendous example of 70s cerebral horror at its finest, as we watch Jessica struggle to separate her imagination from reality. The visions and paranoia that Jessica deals with throughout the film is very imaginative, and it never ceases to entertain even though those moments come at a tremendously slow pace. This is one of those films that like to take its time. Each setup pays off though, and you're left with an icky feeling of doubt on whether what Jessica is seeing is real or truly all in her head. The way the director handles the material is masterful, as he delicately crafts the scares in a classical manner that lacks the gore and jump scares, and instead chooses to leave you with a haunting image that will truthfully stay with you long after the film ends. The film is actually a combination of a ghost story, creature feature, psychological horror, and a hint of vampirism that creeps up from time to time. The ingredients of all of these things make the film seem very fresh and original, which it is. There's been nothing like it in all of 70s horror cinema that I've seen, and it has always stood out in my mind as in a league of its own. Let's Scare Jessica to Death is one of those truly haunting films that seems soaked in ambience from the start and never really seems to let up as the story progresses. Let's Scare Jessica to Death is a haunting movie that will stay with you for a very long time. The images that are concocted from this web of madness makes for a memorable film that treats the material with a detailed hand and sets the pace for a slow-burning psychological horror. The blending of so many themes that eventually come together as one voice really impresses. If you want a movie to internally change you in ways you are not expecting and make you think beyond the movie screen, then watch this movie as soon as you can obtain it. There aren't too many of these kinds of movies around, and that's a damn shame. John Hancock hasn't made too many films in his career, but from what he accomplished here, he can call it quits and still have had the most compelling 70s horror that the era has known. The flick is simply haunting. And there you have it, guys. Let's Scare Jessica to Death is one for the books. It's just extremely creepy, wholly atmospheric, and one that will stick with you for long after you view it. It's just a really great 70s treat, and you should really check it out if you haven't seen it. And if you have, let me know what you think. I'd love to hear it, so leave a comment. Please like and subscribe if you're enjoying what you're seeing, and we'll see you guys later in the next review. Thanks for checking it out. See ya.